musical theater fans in the audience? I was pretty sure of the answer to that one, right? I'm a former music theater actor myself. It's Sunday morning, first panel of the day. Everybody sounds like we're just about at the energy level that we need to bring our honored guests out. But in the time-honored tradition of musical theater, we need to warm up a little bit, okay? Before they can be our guests, right? So, are you ready to blow the roof off this place? Okay, a little bit more on this one. Are you ready? Because I'm a little scared and rather unprepared. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, Beauty and the Beast. Paige O'Hara, Robby Benson. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Yep. You're the filmmaker too. He's making a whole film of this entire weekend. That's so
It's
cool.
a great event, and you guys are just so special. And I love it when you guys come up and talk to us, and we get to know you. And some of the costumes are just absolutely remarkable.
They are.
So thank you.
There's a pretty one right there too.
Makes us feel at home. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now, I've got a couple of questions for these wonderful folks. We have 4 microphones set up. We've already got somebody lined up at one of them. Start lining up. We want to give this over to you guys as much as possible because you are here to see them, they are here to see you, and this I already feel like this is going to be one of the best Q&As we've had this weekend. You think we're ready for this?
Personally, I'll answer anything.
Well, almost.
Anything.
Well, Beauty and the Beast, to start off with, is such a revered classic for so many wonderful reasons. So many people in this audience experienced it as kids at heart, and the love and affection for it, watching it, rewatching it, the re-releases, the IMAX releases, all of that stuff. It makes me want to take the two of you back and ask what you were fans of when you were kids. What were you big into reading? Were you into movies? What was it that captivated your imagination? Was it music, music theater? I mean, very open-ended. Whatever was really your biggest passion.
Well, for me, it was Mary Poppins. You know.
Good way to stay on brand.
Exactly. Well, I got to meet Julie Andrews at an event, and I was so nervous meeting her and everything, and I'd actually stood by and went on for her in The King and I. At the Hollywood Bowl. She got sick like 4 days before the opening, and they had me learn her part 4 days of Anna. It was crazy. So she said, "Oh, Paige, I have to thank you for what you did for me." And like, we ended up hanging out together all weekend. It was like my dream, you know, with my idol. But I fell in love with music and acting and stuff when I was a little kid. I started acting class at age 4, and Judy Garland was my biggest idol. Yeah. And I do love to read. I am definitely the bookworm. And I still want the books, the actual books, not my Kindle. I want them all in my library.
I had a very weird childhood. I grew up in New York. So my favorite movies that I used to look up to were like Dr. Strangelove, a lot of Bergman films like Cries and Whispers. Very, very strange films. I started doing voice work when I was about 13 or 14 because in New York there was this place called Taitra Films that would get all of the foreign films into the United States, and they needed to put them in English. So I would play all of the children's roles, even babies. I would play babies crying and all kinds of stuff. And even I did War and Peace, The Garden of Finzi Contines, some great movies, but I have to be honest because I also did all the Godzilla movies.
He did. He really did.
And it's what
I was going to ask you about this, and I'm glad that you just brought it up.
Well, it's old-fashioned because it was really called looping. It's where there was a loop of film instead of ADR, which is something that's programmed. So you hear these 3 beeps, and it starts recording on the 4th beat, and it's very rhythmical, and it's fantastic. But we used to do paragraphs, and because of the Godzilla movies, you got paid an extra $50 if you did more than 100 loops. And as a kid, that was like a big deal, really big deal for me. And that also is what gave looping a very bad name. Because there would be like this little boy going, Godzilla, Godzilla, there's Godzilla. And what ended up happening, because we were trying to get an extra 100 loops in or whatever, it would look like, Godzilla, Godzilla, there's Godzilla. But I was very lucky. I was starring on Broadway when I was 12. I did a musical when I was 14 on Broadway. I was actually on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Love this story.
Which is...
So next we've got Robby Benson. He's a young talent out of New York.
Well, I was 14. I was in the Rothschilds. And we were doing the number Sons, and all the sons had to come out and sing with Hal Linden. And Ed Sullivan, how many of you remember Ed Sullivan?
Yeah.
Well, he was, back then it was the Ed Sullivan Show and The Wonderful World of Disney on Sundays.
Absolutely.
It was, it was so iconic, and we were scared to death of Ed Sullivan, all the boys who had to sing in this number. And of course, back then they would point to me and they would say, can you go see if Ed Sullivan will shake our hands, not just Hal Linden, but our hands after we do the number before they go to commercial? And I went, oh, okay. And it was just like in The Wizard of Oz. The door opened, and down the hallway, there was Mr. Ed Sullivan. And I remember walking in and finally saying, Mr. Sullivan, can we shake your hands too? And he said, okay. And so, of course, I wanted to turn and run like the Cowardly Lion, but I just kind of walked away. I don't really remember it. It was that frightening. But after the number and before they went to commercial, he called us over and he let us shake his hand. And it was one of the coolest moments of my life.
One of the coolest things about these conventions is the unplanned, unexpected things. You were saying that about, at the end of the hall, and over here I heard a couple of people jump into the chorus of Ed Sullivan, Ed Sullivan, we're gonna meet Ed Sullivan.
Oh my God!
I felt good about this, and this is magnificent. Let's go ahead and send it right over to you, right there. I think that microphone earned it. No, she's gonna go first. Okay. I don't care. She's going first. No, I'm serious. Yeah, you were the one singing, right? Oh, you were singing too? Okay, you can go.
I am not. Absolutely not. I'm not a singer. Okay,
fine. You can go.
All right. Hey guys, it's nice to see you. It's great to have you in Toronto. And I just want to say that Beauty and the Beast, it's a masterpiece, and you guys really brought it to life with your voices. So, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I know that crossovers, they're becoming a really big thing, and I'd just like to ask you guys, who do you think your Disney characters, Belle and Beast, would get along with any other Disney character in any other Disney film? What do you think?
Well, the princesses get along together in Wreck-It Ralph too.
Yeah! I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to violate any NDAs or or anything, but yeah, the girl gang gets together.
The girl gang gets together, and we had such a blast. It's so much fun. But I think Belle and Mulan would really get along. I think so. Well, it's because of Mulan that I took up kickboxing and martial arts.
This only makes me hope that at some point at one of these shows they put you and Ming on a panel together.
Oh, I would love
it'd be
it.
a riot.
I would love to do that. We both. We should be singing with Alan, shouldn't we? It's crazy. That's a good idea.
I think the Beast should be in every movie.
I mean, he fits wherever he goes.
He just roars and takes care of people. And makes people laugh. That's important.
Absolutely.
We'll go to the top mic on this side.
Good morning. So, growing up as a child, I know that this movie was a great influence in allowing me to pursue a career in musical theater. And as somebody who did go to musical theater, I get, different people's work in my book. So my question for you is, what was it like to work with Howard Ashman?
He's my heart, and he is really, if you think about it, he and Ellen Menken are really responsible for the resurgence of animation, because it had pretty much died, and they begged Disney to do this Little Mermaid, and they put up their own money, and it was Howard's vision, really pretty much, both Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, we all took everything from Howard. I'm talking the animators, the directors, the producers, everything was in his vision, and he was just a brilliant, funny, wonderful man, and I am so privileged to have had the chance to work with him.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't spend as much time as Paige did. I only had one song, and believe it or not, I can't remember the lyrics to the song. I know there are a lot of birdies around me, but it's funny, when we recorded this, we recorded it the same way you record a Broadway musical. And that made me feel very much at home. The entire Philharmonic Orchestra is out there, you're in a booth, you're, when it's time for you to sing in the song, you sing. I actually thought that we were getting levels, which is, the sound engineer and everything, I thought was just making sure.
Practice take,
yeah. It wasn't, I didn't even know we were rolling, to be quite honest. And I sang it, and they went, great, thanks, you're done. And so I guess I could feel proud that it was one take, but at the time I thought, great, thanks, you suck. Yeah, I thought I was fired, to be quite honest. And I guess they were very, very happy with it, and that's when I got to meet Mr. Ashman right after that. So it was a wonderful day.
Yeah, Howard took a special interest in Belle, so he was at all of my acting recording days. He would be out in the booth and talking to the directors and stuff, and he was just such a genius, wasn't he? I mean,
yeah.
Amazing. And it's sad he didn't get to see the film. But I think he did see the film. I do think he saw it, and I think he was very happy with what his vision turned out to be.
As a little follow-up to that, wonderful question, by the way.
Yeah.
The Little Mermaid was the first movie that I saw in a movie theater, and it began this road of watching each of these films. And when that special edition DVD of Beauty and the Beast came out, and there was so much attention given to Howard and the way that he really lived and acted what he was looking for from you. What was it like working with him very directly on capturing the essence of the character?
Do you know, it was a couple of things. It was scary sometimes because he was such a genius and he was so wired and high energy and everything. So sometimes he would be a little intimidating, but then it'd also be exhilarating too. You would find yourself just totally getting wrapped up in his emotion and his joy of what he was doing. And he made everybody better, just by being Howard.
We can all remember him best by being the best Howard Ashman we can be, right?
I do have one more story. I don't really tell it very often, but when we did the press conferences coming out, Angela Lansbury didn't want to sing Beauty and the Beast on the TV. She didn't want to do it. So they asked me to sing Beauty and the Beast, and I went to Alan Menken's house. And it was amazing seeing all those awards and everything. But he taught me the song of Beauty and the Beast, because it wasn't my song. And he got all excited, and he said, we have to call Howard, because Howard was in the hospital at this point, and really, really sick. And he says he's never heard anybody but me, or himself, sing the song. He hadn't heard Angela yet. And so I sang it over the phone, and Howard, well, that's the last time I got to really speak to Howard. So it was a really bittersweet moment, and he got very emotional on the other line, and he said, it's so beautiful, Paige, so beautiful. My last thing.
The two of you do him such a tremendous honor, and it's one of the reasons people love that film so much, because you are not afraid to go right for the heart and give it everything. I told you guys, this is going to be great, right?
Okay, you're going to like these up.
Right over here.
We could spend an entire hour just talking about Howard Ashman.
Hi, good morning. It's Mark from Montreal. I have a question to ask you. I don't think it's ever been done in a Q&A. Is it possible for you to sing the song Belle, but when you're singing the song, to have the audience to do participation and do a chorus?
How much money you got? She gets paid to sing, buddy.
Yeah, she promised me that when I was at the...
She promised you? Paige, you promised him, well then you have to do it. Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, you guys have to be the townspeople then, okay?
You guys know the parts, right?
And you gotta remember, I'm 61 years old now.
Doesn't show. Doesn't show at all.
Thank you, I fight it. Okay, let's see, what's my key? A flat? There goes the baker with his tray, like always. The same old bread and rolls to sell. Every morning just the same, since the morning that we came to this poor provincial town.
Good morning, Belle! Bonjour!
That's kind of a high key for my old age, but it feels natural there, though.
It works. It's the right key for Sunday morning.
Thank you.
Microphone up top there.
I gotta guess a question for the both of you. A little bit too. Do you ever go to the Disney parks to check out your characters, and when they see you, do they know that you were the character?
Yes, they always know. It's so weird when you go in there, and I have my legend card that gets me, in for the rest of my life.
Carried in like Marilyn Monroe.
It's so weird.
The arms of men.
I went there just nonchalantly with my husband at one point, and we were working in Disneyland or whatever, right outside there, and we just walked in, and all of a sudden there's like a little beat that happens once you give them your card. Legends of property, legends of property. And then I had all these people coming around, and it was really weird. It was really kind of fun. And the bells, there was one belle that really wanted to talk to me about her career, but she couldn't break the character of Belle. So the fellow who was in charge of hiring the bells, he actually pulled me into this office to speak to her about this college that she wanted to go to, and she still wouldn't break the character of Belle. And he said, Trisha, you could be Trisha now, it's okay. She was like so flustered, but it was adorable. They were really good, these people. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the little kid that yells at Gaston. Have you seen that on the internet? And then a riot? For like 15 minutes, she just reams this little girl reams him. It's great.
Oh, it's so cute.
You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen The Beast. I mean, I remember, I did the voice for this one thing, you probably did too, that they did a Beauty and the Beast at Disney World. And this was back in the mid-90s, and I had my little boy on my shoulder. And I remember when The Beast came out and did my roar and all that kind of stuff, my little boy went, "Ooh, bad noise, bad noise." But my thing is I love doing the candlelight processional at Disney World. And you guys, it's one of my favorite things because as a musician, I'm completely surrounded by the orchestra and the singers. and it is heaven for me. So I try to do that as often as I can. And if you guys have ever seen me do it there and you want to call Disney, tell them I should do it this Christmas.
Speaking of letting Disney know that people want something, there was this live action Beauty and the Beast film, and there's a Beast song that do I have this right? You haven't been recorded singing Evermore, have you?
Not after the bird song.
But I mean, would you be interested in recording and releasing that as a single?
You know what? I do. I just finished writing my second Broadway musical.
Wow!
And
That's amazing.
Okay, well, look, man, focus on that.
Oh my God!
I don't. Good. Yeah, it's that is for people like Paige deserves to sing that. You know, I mean, even in my musical, I wrote "This Is Gonna Kill Paige." This kind of puts her on the spot, which is really good. I wrote one of the leads for Paige, and I've been begging her to do it. So, like, now saying that in front of all you guys, just a little more pressure.
Love you, Robby. I haven't been performing much in the last couple of years because I've been painting for Disney, and it's been a real blessing. And actually, I've loved painting Beauty and the Beast, and now I'm painting all the princesses, and I'm doing Simba right now. But I do miss being on stage. I've done it my whole life, and if anything's going to get me back on stage, it's your musical.
I have to say one thing. If you guys ever go to Las Vegas, there's a gallery in Caesar's Palace where a lot of Paige's art is hanging. She is a remarkable artist. Her paintings are incredible. Check it out.
Thank you.
And don't get lost at the tables.
Let's go right over here.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. My name is Emily. I'm from Barrie, a little city north of here. Woo! Yay, Barrie people! There's nothing to do in our city and it's boring. Anyway, I would love to sing for you if that would be okay.
Go for it.
All right, Home from the Broadway musical. Is this home? Is this where I must learn to be happy? Never dreamed that a home could be dark and cold. I was told every day in my childhood, even when we grow old, home should be where the heart is. Never were words so true. My heart's far, far away. Home is too.
That's beautiful.
So where can people see you on stage in Barrie, Ontario?
I would love to, but there's no theater in Barrie. Maybe we should start something.
You need to start it. I think you
I
probably
love
have an
that.
angle on it.
I actually got to sing that with the Philharmonic from Tokyo. I toured Japan for 22 cities, and I was so happy that we added that song for the tour. My husband and I did it. He played the Beast in Gaston, and it was fun. My husband actually played the Beast in the Broadway version, so it's kind of all in the family. It's crazy. You sound
you just
actually
collected
beautiful.
beasts.
You sound gorgeous.
You,
Thank you.
Yeah, you need to leave your name and number with me. Okay? Because I have to tell you something. In today's world where everything is auto-tuned, you just were circular. Your pitch was so beautiful.
Thank you.
And your tone is gorgeous.
As they say, it was totally in the pocket. You sang in the pocket.
All I'm going to say now is eat that, Emma Watson.
I think our guests have no comment. This mic right here.
Hi there. Two things from the movie that stuck with me are the last line of the opening oration, which goes, "For who could ever love a beast?" And the main lesson being that characters should matter more than looks in the choice of a romantic partner. That second one stuck with me because, according to what I've read, it doesn't quite bear out as much as it should in the real world. OkCupid, a major dating website, conducted a study.
We're aware it is a major dating website, yes.
Yes, OkCupid recently conducted a study and found that not only is the photo the most important factor whether or not you get responses, but the female users surveyed rated an astounding 80% of male users as below average, which of course makes no mathematical sense. With that in mind, do you think a more accurate last line should be, "For who could ever love a beast when Mr. Average is already so repulsive"?
I was wondering where we were going, and then we got there. Do you feel like it has an appropriate end to the story, the last line?
I just want to tell you that, well, I love the fact that she actually falls in love with the beast, and the beast falls in love with her as a beast. Because my wife fell in love with me as a beast. But I heard this weekend for the first time, and remember, we did this in the early 90s. People kept coming up and talking about the Stockholm
syndrome.
You know, about falling in love with your captive, whatever. That is just so odd to me. This is the first time I've ever experienced that someone is putting that together with the film. I really hope that's not how you guys are looking at it.
You're saying that there's something there that wasn't there before. Sounds accurate.
Yeah, I'm back on falling in love with the beast as the beast. I actually ad-libbed a line that didn't end up in my movie, but it ended up in the live-action movie, where Belle's a little shocked when she sees him as the prince, and she's touching his face, and she says, "Do you think he could grow a beard?" That was my ad-lib, and Emma did it. She did the line. I was like, oh my God, it was so funny.
I really meant her when you did that.
Yeah, it almost ended up in our version. Almost. Yeah.
Right over here.
Morning, guys. What did you guys think of the new live action Beauty and the Beast?
The new live action?
Yeah, what did you guys think of it?
I really liked it. I really thought they did a beautiful job. I had like two things I didn't like, which is I've been open about, so it's not a secret. But other than that, I thought Emma was great, and I thought that Dan Stevens was brilliant. Josh Gad is always brilliant. Oh my gosh, he's so good. He's just so talented. I know him back from Florida days, where I grew up there. He did South Florida theater all the time. So. But I really liked it. I thought it was really well done. And I told Emma I was jealous that she got to be the inventor. I wish I could have done that. And I wish that Robby could have had the song that Dan sang. But I didn't like Gaston shooting the beast. That's the thing I really didn't like. I didn't like the guns.
Yeah, I liked his performance a whole lot. And then as a character he did that, I was like, oh.
Well, you know, Don Hahn didn't want the gun shooting part. He lost the battle.
Don Hahn, saint among producers.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Waking Sleeping Beauty, you really must see it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And he actually produced our movie and co-produced the live action. And he said, Paige, I lost that battle. The director really wanted the gun, so for his point to be made. But I loved it. Did you guys like it? Yeah? Well, I got to go to the premiere, and that was really cool. And I walked up, and there was Emma, like 5 feet away, and she literally went, and all people were turning around and looking at us, and we were hugging and laughing and talking, and it was really cool. It was really, really cool. She's adorable. I should have played her mother in the movie. What's up with that?
Missed opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Let's see next. Up here.
Hey, Paige O'Hara. Hi, Robby Benson. It's really nice to meet you in person for the very first time. I'm a huge Disney princess fan.
It's okay, we're all nervous. I'm stuck on stage. You have no idea how nervous I am. You're good, man.
I'm sorry, it's all improvised. All right, my question is improvised. All right, so Before Frozen, all the Disney princess films were traditionally animated, which the animations were really great for on paper. And then Frozen came, and then Moana, and now we're going to CGI with Disney princess films. I know it's the future, and animation is all done in CGI and such, and it's much more cheaper to do in CGI than it is to do on traditional in paper. But do you ever want Disney to ever go back to traditional animation?
Yeah, I am
movies?
so glad you said that. Because, you know, being an artist at Disney, you know, we work with the animators, and it takes them an entire week, an animator, to draw 4 seconds of film.
Seriously?
I mean, it's unbelievable, the art
Frame
form.
by frame by frame by frame. You got
Frame by frame by frame,
per
yeah.
second.
And I think that, absolutely, I hope that they get tired of this format and they go back to the hand-drawn animation and put those animators back to work. A lot of artists lost their jobs.
It's a brilliant craft that should not become a lost art.
No, absolutely. It should not be a lost art. And it's a very much appreciated art. And not, you know, working with Mark Henn quite a bit, which I do. He animated Belle and so many of them. But he's, you know, he's like, misses what he used to do. And his ideas are just off the charts, what he has to give now. You know, so they need to open their minds up a little bit. At least do one of those a year, you know.
That actually reminds me of something. Have you heard of this animation director named Don Bluth?
Don Bluth?
Yeah, Don Bluth.
Yeah, he was at Disney for, I don't know, a couple years.
Yeah.
He did 1 or 2 things.
If you want to know, in case you don't know, he's actually working on his own traditional animation and film called, I think it was called Dragon's Lair the movie. He hopes to use that film to create a spark to bring back traditional animation films.
You know, you've given me a great idea. We should actually invite Don and his producing partner Gary to one of these shows because you guys would want to see them, right? Thank you so much for your question. We're gonna go to, we're gonna go to Belle, of course.
Hi, Belle.
Hi, Paige. Hi, Robby.
Hi.
Just wondering if we could all get a group photo with all the Beauty and the Beast characters after the panel.
Do you want to maybe have everybody meet you up in the autograph hall?
Sure, we could do one up here on stage, sure.
Yeah.
She's the boss. So, if you're not wearing one of the costumes, I don't want to see you coming.
You're talking about everyone in costume?
Yes, please.
Sure, let's plan on it.
All right, cool.
Okay,
We will make time. We will make that happen. All right. I think we've got a kid up here on this microphone. Kid questions the best questions. It's just the truth.
Okay, so my question is, if you would play a different character in a different movie, what would you play? In what movie and why?
Wow.
What a great question. Wow.
Well,
How about for Disney movies or any kind of movie?
Any movie, like maybe Legends.
Cool.
The actor's dream. Give yourself the gig you want.
well, I mean, I'd have to say King Kong.
I mean, you did Godzilla.
Awesome choice.
That would be the Beast on steroids.
Okay, I'm like a wannabe Scarlett Johansson. I love the martial arts and stuff, you know, but not really a challenge acting-wise, but, you know. Acting-wise, I hope to play Judy Garland someday. I don't know.
Awesome choice.
The old Judy.
I have to say, big time. Well done, man.
Big
Well
time.
done.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think you stumped us a little bit.
Right here. Is that a jellicle cat over there?
Well, I'm the Beast.
Oh, you're the Beast. I'm sorry. Okay, now I can see the coat. I saw the ears.
Yeah, the lighting is hard
It looked
to
like
see.
a costume I wore 20 years ago.
I'm trying to figure out where to stand. So I don't want to be greedy, but I have 2 sort of quicker questions. Is that okay?
Rock and roll.
Okay. Well, Paige, I know that you like to do art, and so do I. So I was wondering, like, what your favorite medium is, or I know you like to paint Disney princesses, or if there's anything else that you'd like to paint. I'm just interested.
You have a favorite medium to use making art?
Do you like to paint? Yeah.
Oh, that I like to paint. I'm sorry. You know, old age hearing.
Also fine, I'm sorry.
I love painting Belle, but she's definitely the most difficult of all of them. The one that just like poured out of me, and I did it in like 2 days, was Ariel. And I think that's partly because I just love Ariel, but I also love Jodie Benson, who's my friend who played her. And yeah, that one came out amazing. I love the orange, red hair, you know. But I think the most difficult princess is Belle. And second to her, I would say, believe it or not, Cinderella. She changes at angles. It's very different. If you look at her profile and you look at her head on, you know, that one would give me a bit of a problem. I'm loving painting Simba right now, though. Oh my gosh.
If you had to paint something other than something from Disney, what would you paint?
Well, I've always painted since I was 3 years old, and I would copy Turner, Sargent, and Da Vinci. And I've been working on different aspects of Madonna of the Rocks of Da Vinci for years, and I've done the Virgin Mary and the Guardian Angel, and I'm going to finish it at some point. But you learn so much when you copy the masters, you know, and I kept trying to get the skin tone that Da Vinci had, and I kept using my fingers, and I found out later that's what he did, you know, use his fingers to blend it. But so it's crazy. It's a crazy business, isn't it? You know, it's a whole different kind of vulnerability that you have, you know, when you have your artwork and the art critics. And there are a couple guys at Disney that were not happy when I got signed, and ultimately they've become my buddies. So it's been great.
Princess wins them over every time.
There you go.
Up here.
Yes, I'd say from Barry too. What are some of your favorite memories from working on the movie, and what is something that you wish had been put in that ad-libbed part or something? This question's for both of you.
Any other favorite memories from working in the film? I mean, we've talked about some of them. Any bits that you wish had been included? I mean, you had the line that didn't make it in. Was there anything else that maybe didn't quite make it in that you wish had?
I'll be honest, I truly don't remember, but that's because I'm 61. I do remember, you know, trying always in an honest way, because there's comedy and then there's honest comedy, things that truly come from a character that make you laugh. And I remember always doing as many bits as possible. And I think, you know, a lot of them made them into the movie. But my favorite thing when I used to do that was hearing the animators, the directors, and Don Hahn. You could actually hear them laughing.
From behind the glass.
From behind the glass, yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, but I don't remember which ones didn't make it. I'm sorry.
That's all right. And just, I want to go into the production side of animation, so I always love hearing these behind-the-scenes things. Thank you very much.
We had so much fun. I mean, you know, it was just an experience that, you know, you record for, you know, a week or two, and then you disappear and go do your thing for a few months, then you come back, and this went off and, you know, on for 2 years. But it was an amazing experience, and there were a lot of wonderful moments especially with Howard Ashman. Are you kidding me? The funniest man in the world. He made us laugh. I remember my first day, I was so nervous. Robby had not been cast yet. They were still looking for their beast, and I started to do my lines, and whoa, stop. And Howard's like, we don't want Ethel Merman, we want Paige, you know. I was like playing to the balcony, you know, and my character went out the window. So it was kind of fun. But after that moment, I kind of calmed down. But I didn't really come together with my character until you came along. And Robby came along a month later, and we requested to record together. And that was the greatest thing. They don't do it much anymore because it's time consuming, it's expensive, but you know what, it was magical because we could actually, you know, be spontaneous and ad-lib off of each other and played it like a film. We did it like a Broadway show or a film. So that was really unique that we got to do that.
Yes.
So they're just telling me that we're needing to wrap up, which is sad. But the wonderful thing is the two of you are here the rest of the day, and everyone can go and get the in-person Paige and Robby experience, yes? Okay. Now, because we've run a bit over and we have to logistically do a variety of things, cosplayers, would you guys be cool with the idea of meeting them back up in the autograph hall once they're back at their tables? after this and get everybody together there, just because there are a lot of you, I'm realizing, and getting you all up on stage and everybody around might be a little bit tough. Is that okay?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Huh?
That work? All right. So this has been an absolute honor and pleasure and bucket list treasure thing for me. I think it's safe that I can say that for many of you as well.